Yo, good morning, party people. Got a new cup. All right, those that know, know. All right, December 16th. Good morning, party people. All right, so we are today in the Old Testament. Let me get my readings for you, for those of you that are following along. Okay, so for our daily readings, today we are in Ezra chapters 3, 4, Leviticus 11, 12. Actually, those were reversed. Doesn't matter. Revelations 21, 22, Psalms 3, 4, and of course Proverbs 12. Okay, so that's where we're at for our daily reading. So today we are back in the Old Testament, and there's so much going on here, guys. I'm super excited to share this with you guys. Okay, so in these sections of Ezra today, chapters 3, 4, we're seeing all kinds of references to the other studies that we're doing. All right, so of course, first of all, let me show you where we're at on the timeline. Okay, so here's our timeline. So like I always say, this is showing the timeline of Israel, right? So here's the northern kingdom. And of course, we know the northern kingdom falls. Those people that are in the northern kingdom, when they fall with through the Assyrian kings take the people from the Jewish people from that area, and they spread them out through all over their territories, right? And then what they do is they bring in their people from all over their territories and put them in the northern kingdom. So this is a very early example of replacement. What do they call it? Where everyone's having a fit about all the people coming in all the territories all over the United States. Replacement population or whatever. So it's people coming in and bringing in all of their traditions and all of their ways of worship into that territory, right? And so it's diluting that population genetically. So the people that were originally Jewish in nature are intermarrying with the people that are coming in. And so it's changing the entire culture of that area, right? So the Northern Kingdom, which had already been a mess. Remember, we saw here in my list, the Northern Kingdom before their fall. So here's the United Kingdom, Saul, David, Solomon, and then under Solomon's son Rehoboam, it splits. So all these guys in the parentheses in the Northern Kingdom, they're not even mentioned in Second Chronicles or First or Second Chronicles, because they weren't interested in following these guys, because these guys were not following God already. They were already turned from God. Here's the Southern Kingdom, the one that lasted the longest. And but replacement, God, what is it? Replacement. Oh my God, it's so early in the morning, I can't think. Anyway, so there was a policy even back then. So we're seeing it now today over in Europe and here in the United States, where people are making the same claim that people are purposely bringing in populations from outside that community to try and change the culture of Europe and here, right? Well, this isn't nothing new. There's nothing new under the sun, right? So this was a practice of kings all the way back during this time. And timeline, where is my map? So this is where we're at currently. All right, so here we show, now we're studying in Isaiah, right? Now Isaiah, as I told you before, Isaiah actually has a prophecy where he calls Cyrus by name. So the people that we're seeing in Ezra were taken captive by Babylon, the southern kingdom. So the northern kingdom was taken, and their people were intermixed with all the people of the Babylonian kingdoms, and the Babylonian kingdoms brought their people in here to the northern kingdom, right? And so these guys were up on the southern kingdom's northern border, right? So these guys here in Isaiah, they lasted all the way to here, and then a lot of those people were taken by Babylon, taken into Babylon, and then the Persian Empire took over Babylon, right? So here's the Neo-Babylonian Empire, here's the Persian Empire. So Persia inherited the Babylonian Empire. So these people were all mixed up, and these people were all mixed up. People were brought in, and people were taken away. There's always been a remnant in both. There's always been a remnant in what was the Northern Kingdom and the Southern Kingdom, but it was, by this time it's mixed, right? So here, one more time. So here we see, this is where we're at right now in our timeline with Ezra, right? Zerubbabel. So after this long time frame of the Babylonian captivity, Zerubbabel under King Cyrus, who is prophesied by our study in Isaiah, we're seeing in Isaiah, and Jeremiah also prophesies how long they're going to be in captivity and talks about that as well. But Isaiah calls God gives Isaiah Cyrus's name and says that this man is going to be raised up and be responsible for bringing my people back, right? Because God's all about, there's always a remnant, right? So no matter how much people fall away from God, God, we're the apple of God's eye. And so there's always a remnant that's maintained. And so what we see here, getting back to Ezra, so what we see here is the group of people under King Cyrus. The first group has gone back. He's allowed them to go back. And so the last time we were in Ezra 1-2, we were discussing what a small number it was that went back. But it was describing the different Levites, priests, singers, all the different people, and the ones that went back. So now what we're seeing here is we're seeing now they're back in Israel. And you're seeing, remember in John chapter 4, when we were studying with John, Jesus, and the people in his time, which is just not that long ago, we're having a fit because he was interacting with a Samaritan woman, right? Well, you see here in Ezra, all the way back here in chapters 3 and 4, some of the reasoning for that hatred of the Samaritans. The Samaritans were people from the Samaria, which was a location that had mingled with that were up here in this area, and they had mingled with the Jews. So they thought that they were worshiping God, but they weren't. They were worshiping idols, and they had a way of worshiping that was not like the Jewish people worshipped, right? And they were mixed. So they were not following the law and the things that they were supposed to be doing. And their ancient animosity towards the Samaritans goes all the way back to this story that we see here at the time of them going back to Jerusalem to rebuild the temple under Cyrus. So what you're going to see here is the resistance in chapter 4 by the Samaritans, the local people that were partly mixed with Jewish ancestry, coming against those that came out of captivity to go back and rebuild the temple. So it's an awesome story, but it's all mixed up. It's so, when you see these ancient animosities, like between even Muslims and Jews, and we all know it traces back originally to the time of Abraham, but there's same thing here with this story with Jesus and the Samaritan. When you just read that, you're not going to understand. And I didn't fully understand it until just in the last couple of days when I've been reviewing all of this, how far back this goes and what the source of that was. I knew that there was intermarriage and all of that, and they weren't doing things completely right, but I didn't understand completely the total source of that. And so that goes all the way back to here when they were doing everything they could to fight them rebuilding the temple. So I'm already almost through with this video, which is so crazy. I'm going to start this, and then I'll probably have to do 2 more. Okay, so it says here, Ezra chapter 3, and when the 7th month had come, and the children of Israel were in the cities, so this is the people that had already gone back to Jerusalem, the people gathered together as one man to Jerusalem. Then Jeshua the son of Jozadak and his brethren the priests, and Zerubbabel the son of Shealtiel and his brethren arose and built the altar of the God of Israel to offer burnt offerings on it, as it is written in the law of Moses, the man of God. Okay, so what you see here is, so I just want to clarify a couple things here. So in the 7th month, so they're starting all this in the 7th month. So in the 7th month, they have the Feast of Trumpets, the Day of Atonement, and the Feast of Tabernacles. And then you can trace all that back to Numbers chapter 29. And then Jeshua, the one that they mention here, then Jeshua the son of Jozadak and his brothers, the priest. This is the same Joshua when you read Haggai, the prophet Haggai, chapters 1:1, and Zechariah, chapters 3:1, same guy. And then, of course, we know that, what's his name? Zerubbabel, that's the one that's in the lineage of the kings, right? So he is considered, he would be down here after Zedekiah. He would be considered in the lineage of King David, they call him the king of Judah. He also has another name. So then it says, so then what they've done is they've begun to offer. So they've already come back. So in the 7th month, the holy month, when all of these feasts take place, they begin to start their offerings and doing the things that they're supposed to be. And it says, according to the law of Moses, the man of God. And it says, verse 3, though fear had come upon them because of the people of those countries, they set the altar on its bases, and they offered burnt offerings to the Lord, both the morning and evening burnt offerings. And then it's going to go into more detail. Okay, I'm almost out of time, so hold tight. Number 2's coming. Peace. Read your Bible.